Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Super-Fanta-Fi. This being a show where I talk about TV shows of the supernatural, fantasy, and/or science fiction genre. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the season finale of The 100. So in this episode, it's all about getting the rocket ready to go off to space so they can live there for the next 5 years. But things aren't that easy, especially when things kind of go wrong. Raven's kind of willing to give up, which is like, you can't give up, Raven. Like, how many times you can solve this situation, because the fact of the matter is you've saved our asses so many damn times. You can't let this one thing defeat you, because it's like, we don't need Allie, we need you, because you were saving our butts even before you had the whole Allie situation in your brain, before you even knew who or what Allie was. Then at the same time, you also have Clark being worried about the whole radiation sickness situation, because she's like, yeah, there's a possibility this might not work, which Bellamy's like, no, it will work, it'll be fine, because she doesn't know, because eventually the radiation might kick in, because she's already been exposed, so, she'd eventually run out of time anyway. So she's like, if anything happens, Bellamy, I want you to take over. He's like, no, don't talk like that, which is like, you need to hear this, because she's like, the fact is, Bellamy, we've all, it's something I've brought up before in the past, the fact is where they started off. She talks about the fact is, honestly, when we first met, obviously that I didn't like you. No, secret there. But the fact of the matter is, I saw the kindness in your heart, because the fact is, everything you've ever done has been for your sister's sake. And now, look at where they are. They were enemies in the beginning, but now they're the best of friends. They rely on each other. They count on each other. They believe in each other. So she's like, I need you to follow that big heart of yours. Because of that big heart, everyone will always be willing to follow you. But you also need to use your head too. He kind of says a cute thing where it's like, well, why do I need to do that when I have you? I'm like, oh, Bellamy. It's because it's something I've kind of thought of after the whole Finn situation. I'm like, maybe Clark and Bellamy, but then it's like, oh, but that never mind that. You and Lexa, oh, that didn't, what, no. And so now I'm kind of tilting that back and forth in my head. It's like, you and Bellamy, especially after last season, I started kind of thinking that even more so. But I don't know if anything will come of that, especially because she's with Nyla, so I don't know whether that's a serious thing or not, or is that just kind of I don't know, because maybe even her and Bellamy are like, nah, we're such good friends, that'd be weird, because obviously they deeply care about each other. I can see it as a couple, but it'd be so interesting, because I like couple pairings where it's they start off hating each other. It's kind of almost slightly close to this Tsundere is what I'm trying to say. God, ugh. Screw that up. It's kind of like the Tsundere effect, but on both sides. You hated each other, but secretly, obviously something grew there where it's now you like each other type of thing. I don't know. I think it was kind of cool. It'd be cool. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. I'm also fine with that too. It's kind of interesting what went down with Echo too, because I was like, okay, she's kind of shutting herself away from everyone. She's not doing any help. I was like, why? It's because she feels bad. It's I'm here surviving. Because for one, I think on some level she feels bad for surviving, because it's you guys are helping me out. I think on some level it's I would be a waste on your resources anyway, because you're very limited. It's why do I get to live anyway? Because I don't fit in anywhere. I can't go into the sky because I don't know nothing about living in space like you guys do, and I have no place on the ground because my home is gone. And even with the home situation, it's I can never go back, because I was kicked out of the clan by my king, and now, and even so, Octavia kicked her out too, so it's where do I go from here? So Bellamy kind of stops her from killing herself, because he's like, we need you, yes, I know, we have a problem, because she's even why would you save me? I betrayed you, which he's like, yes, you did, but the fact of the matter is, living together for the next 5 years is definitely not going to be the easiest thing. It's most likely going to be a trying thing, but at the same, probably going to get at each other's throats. There's going to be some difficulties there, but at the same time, it's what we're going to need is each other, so. And they also had Monty and Murphy obviously being at odds, because obviously, Murphy kind of jokes about Jasper, which Monty brings up some. I totally forgot. The fact is that Murphy wanted to kill Jasper because he was making too much noise. It's that was part of the reason, because he was in so much pain, but the fact is that he was crying out in so much pain, all it was going to do is alert other people. Plus it's they're wasting a lot of their supplies on him, so Murphy was kind of all for killing Jasper when he got the spear through his chest and everything. And it's also kind of joking, the fact is it's kind of a waste, because Jasper went the coward route, this killing himself which pisses Monty off and everything. But because he even brings up, it's like out of anyone that ends up surviving, one of the 8 people that's going to go to space and survive, it's going to be Murphy. You really, I mean, at the same time, it's like almost like, yeah, of course it'd be Murphy. He's like the guy that's selfish, which is like there's always give and take with that, because even when Murphy is selfish, at the same time he does it for someone else. In this case, it's like it's no longer him being selfish because he's looking out for Imori because he loves her. Monty ends up getting radiation burns on his hands because trying to get like a device that they need, and he ends up passing out from it. And Murphy ends up toting like the thing back, and he ends up meeting up with the others, and he's like, "Okay, we need to go get Monty." And everyone's looking. He's like, "Okay, yes, you can be impressed with me later." And then moment they got there, Monty hugs Bellamy first, and then Murphy's like, "Of course he's gonna hug you first. Of course he's gonna hug you." And Monty's like, "You chose the machine over me." He's like, "Well, yeah, it's back at base," and hugs him. It's like, okay, I might not hate you anymore. So it's like, okay, we're kind of burying a lot of hatchets and stuff like that. So sadly, the situation is that, multiple sad things. For one, Clark wasn't able to say goodbye to her mom. Bellamy barely got to say goodbye to Octavia. She even jokingly was like, "It took till the end of the world for me to tell you I love you." Obviously, because she's always had, things have recently not made it easier for her to be around Bellamy and kind of admit how she really feels, But Bellamy didn't really get to tell her, "I love you" back. So, and like I said, Clark didn't really even get a chance to really check on her mom and everything. So, because we don't know where that whole situation stands either. But by the time it's all said and done, like, Clark has to do one more thing, but the radio tower thing won't work, which sucks. It's like, of course you're going to put her in that position. I was like, no, Clark's going to get it fixed and she's going to get back in time. It's like, no, she has to climb the entire tower in like 10 minutes. And it's like, they have to leave. Everyone's kind of like, whoa, do we really? It's like, even Amari's like, yo, can't we wait another minute or so? It's like, if we do, we'll miss our window of opportunity, because if we get caught up in a storm, if we don't leave now, we're going to still be within range of the storm for it to affect us, and we won't be able to lift off. And so Murphy's like, Bellamy's like, we have to leave. It's like, are you sure? And it's like, yeah, because that's what Clark would want to do. And it is, because she went into it knowing, she's like, she even says the mantra of like, my fight is over, because she knew she might not come back from this. And so she sees the rocket launching. And so she ends up having to manually redirect the satellite, which super sucks. It's like, of course, everything's going to go wrong when you need it to work the most. And luckily was able to get the signal up to the Ark, and they were able to get all the lights on, struggling for air and everything, but luckily they were able to get it on before everyone suffocated. And it turns out, we see that Clark's suit breaks. There was a moment, part of me is like, no, there's no way they're going to kill Clark off. There's no way. But there was like moments where I'm like, obviously before things got to that point, there was a part of mine was like, maybe they will kill Clark. I hope they don't, but maybe they will. So I was like, there's still a possibility, but it's like, no, that Luna, the Nightblood's going to kick in, which it turns out it does. I'll admit, it's kind of messed up to say, but the planet, and it's almost like a very effed up beauty to like how it looked, like aesthetically, like you see that like it's not, God, because I'm sounding like such a piece of crap saying that, but it's like aesthetically how it looked when it's like you see the last bit of Prime Fire hit, like that the last area of the planet, and it's just like just how like desolate, like that orangish red look to the planet after like it basically getting covered the entire planet. And so it's like, hey, we got to survive, because if we don't, it's all going to, like, Clark's death would have been in vain, because Bellamy felt bad about it, because he's like, we literally made it all this way behind, all the way here. I left Clark just for us to go up here and die, but luckily everyone survived. So everyone playing their part, making sure each one of them got their air at the specific times they needed before they ended up running out. So, but like I said, luckily everything was saved. I was kind of hoping, I wasn't really sure which way they were going to do this. I was like, are you going to do a time skip? Which they do. It's been exactly 6 years and 7 days, and you see Clark. I'm like, yes, I thought so. She's basically been surviving, apparently on her own too, because she ends up kind of every day she sends a signal up to Bellamy and them just to make sure they're okay. She's like, I'm not sure if you're getting this. Maybe this is kind of me keeping my peace of mind. Like, kind of basically she's kind of had to be on her own. Granted, there is a young grounder with her. She says like, wake up young Nightblood. So my question is that your daughter or something? I don't think so. Because that kid looked too big to be her daughter. It's like, you don't look like a 6-year-old. But it's like, I highly doubt it, but it's like, I mean, who is she? How do you find her? Like, maybe she actually is a Nightblood, and she might be like one of the few Nightbloods that are left. And while Clark was traveling, obviously she came across her. I mean, it's a strong possibility. I mean, I'm pretty sure that was a girl. Like, I don't know, but either way, like she ends up bringing up the fact is that she hasn't been able to contact the bunker either. So it's been 6 years, so the radiation has cleared up to the point, like, because the whole point was like to stay, because the radiation would give up like after 5 years. But it's like, yep, it's been 6 years, and she's like, you guys haven't come back yet. You've been able to come back for like a year now, so something must be up. And I lost contact with the bunker. The bunker's blocked off, so it's nothing she can handle do on her own. So she sees it something coming down. She's like, oh man, it's you guys. But then she looks and it's like not them because it's a bigger ship. It even says it's like some corporation. What was it? Eliga Corporation. And it looked like it was like a prisoner transport. And it's like, wait, what does that mean? And that's where it ends. So, I mean, go ahead and really say, like, overall, a very good season finale. Turn of events I wasn't quite expecting. I was kind of hoping Clark would go with them, but I wasn't expecting her to kind of be left behind. I was like, okay, she'll get there at the very last minute, but she's climbing the tower and she's trying to do whatever it takes. I should have figured, considering that whole conversation with Bellamy, like, oh yeah, like, something's going to happen. Either she's going to die or she's going to be separated from them. That's why he's like, why would I need that when I got you? So what this is setting up, I'm curious about, because like the Ark is supposed to be the last of humanity. So who is this corporation? Are we going to step into boundaries of aliens, other planets, other settlements? Are there other people outside of the Ark? Like, because everyone that was on the Ark left. So who else would there be left? The only ones that should be up there are the 7 that went up to survive, escape from prime fire and the radiation. So I wonder how Clark has been able to survive this long. I mean, because I guess given enough time, like, I don't know, because it's like, I would assume it'd be impossible to hunt. I'm sure, because obviously a lot of the earth is scorched. So, and I doubt there's enough supplies in Rebecca's lab. That was the whole thing. Like, you wouldn't be able to, so, like, I think there's enough supplies to last for like 5 months. But I think even for a normal person, like even one person, that 5 months, I think was the max. So maybe given enough time, the radiation was able to die down a little bit, so she was able to hunt and maybe collect some, I don't know, some food. I don't know. Because the interesting thing is, on Earth, we have not searched everyone on Earth. Like, there have been like, obviously there's faraway places that have kind of been introduced to the show so far, but even then it's like, because obviously there's like outside realms too, where it's like people like Imori who are kind of considered mutants. Like, there are her people out there because Jaha met them when he was searching for the City of Light back at season 2. So, but there's like, it makes you wonder, do they fare during the radiation or what? Because they don't fall under any clan, so maybe there are going to be more people we meet. Also, what's up with the situation? Because obviously Octavia's leading the charge. She's not all about being a leader, because it's like she was able to get everyone down there, but she's like, I don't know what to be a leader. It's like, it has to be, Bellamy or Clark would be better at this, which Bellamy's like, you don't know. None of us was able to do what you were able to do. You didn't do it by fighting. I mean, Grant, to a certain degree, she kind of did, but like uniting them, she didn't unite them by like, because she made a decision on her own. She showed her strength of will that's like, hey, we can make this, but only if we do it together. So, like I said, like, we really honestly didn't get that much of a look at the bunker. Obviously, she's got Indra by her side. So, who's to say what went down in that, like, 6 years down there? Because obviously, it's like, obviously, Sky Crew's got its problems, especially those who've survived. Because there are a lot of people that didn't get to survive that, like a lot of their own people that died. So, especially when it comes to the bunker, let's not forget, Abby might be super pissed at Kane for letting her live, because she was like, yeah, give my spot to someone else. So there might be some animosity there too, like if we kind of pop back in with them, because Raven did leave some instructions for Abby to learn how to like help herself if need be, which then kind of makes me wonder. The fact that they did that, it makes me wonder, did everyone else get to say their goodbyes to whoever they respectively wanted to? I mean, considering the fact that no one else there really has any family, the only one that has family there is Clark and Bellamy. Like no one else there actually has family that's there because they're kind of everyone else is kind of on their own, which is super sad when you actually think about it like that. But I get the feeling that might be something we kind of see in the future is that animosity with Abby. Maybe we'll find out that she's better. I mean, it turns out her premonition did come true, but I guess there was only to a certain extent, with the whole Clark situation. I was like, oh yeah, like she did kind of get radiation poisoning bad, and her skin got blistered up like that because of her suit cracking and everything. But still, obviously, she ended up surviving and everything. So, and kind of the same thing with up there, like, because the fact is they don't know that Clark's still alive, so. But how it makes you wonder how they've been faring. What does this new development mean for them? Does this mean that like maybe these people went to the Ark? Maybe the reason why Bellamy and the others haven't come back yet is because they were captured by this group and kept as prisoners or something like that. Like I said, are they from like a different? They have to be from like a different planet, not less there's more people that escaped from planet Earth. During the whole initial like thing that kept humans off of planet Earth for like the past 100 years, not unless there were more people that escaped that just ended up somewhere else. Maybe we'll end up finding out there's a darker past connected to the Ark that we don't know about. Kind of a lot of it's like, I mean, because let's not forget, there's like I said, the Ark's been there for like 100 years. A lot could go down because like our only look into the past of the Ark dealt with Becca and the others, and we don't know what might have came before or after. So I would assume our story came after, but who's to say what came before Rebecca? I can't remember. I think they were relatively. I forgot. I'm an idiot. Like Becca and them were the first. I'm such an idiot. I forgot because she was the first commander. So yeah. So because she ended up landing like right after like the Earth kind of fell to crap and everything. So. Because it's also that group from season 1 who acted on their own. It was led by the lady who was I think she was the original chancellor before Jaha took over or whatever. Like her and her people revolted and they tried to get here, but they ended up crashing, ended up dying. It's like maybe they weren't acting on their own. The reason why they were willing to take the chance they were willing to is because they knew they were going to get support from somewhere else. Maybe they actually came from somewhere else. Maybe they're with a different group that they knew that group was off somewhere else, establishing some things, and then eventually they come get them or something like that. But because I don't know how much time has actually passed from like the first season till now. Like, has it been a couple years or what? I'd assume that within the time frame of the show kind of fits roughly. Well, the show timeline, like because it's been like 4 years for the show. It's been 4 years within timeline for the show, but I mean we'll just have to wait till I don't know if this is being renewed for another season. I know I say that all the time, but I kind of always like to find out last second because I'm always reluctant to look up ahead of time because I'm scared to find out a show. I guess on some point in my mind it's like if I wait long enough and a show will be renewed. So, but I think this show does decently well. At least I think so. At least I hope so. I really like it, so I'm very interested to see. I really hope it does come back for another season because I'd be interested to see like where do you go from here because it's not like there should be any more conflicts because there's no more like Sky Crew versus Grounders or Tree Crew or Ice Nation. It's like no, we're all one clan now. So, but obviously a new threat's got to pop up. So that was kind of interesting. I was like, how are you going to cliffhang this? Like I thought like maybe revealing that Clark's still alive, that'll be where you end it. Like, oh, well, where did it go from here? Which is still part of the story, but it's like who are these new people coming back and everything. Maybe we'll kind of explore a little bit more of Earth in the next season. Because I do know that this series is based on the books. I know I've never read any of the books associated with the series. If you had, do let me know. Because I'm actually curious to know. And it'll probably do something. I'll do my own research to find out. But how different the book is from the TV show. Because, adaptations tend to kind of take their own liberties and stuff like that. In some people's eyes, that can be, a good thing or a bad thing. Just depending. So, I mean, since I've never read the original books, I mean, I'm not much of a... I mean, truth be told is I'm not much of a reader. I really don't like reading books. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter to me. I'm just curious because I'm, wondering, is it going to be stuff, maybe there's storylines that have popped up in the books. I think there's at least 3 books within the 100 series that I'm aware of. So, I don't know beyond that. Like I said, I don't know how the stories compare. So, if so, do let me know, like, if you've read the books that the 100 are based on. Let me know if you've actually... how well the shows compare. Like, obviously, if there's stuff that hasn't come up yet, but obviously this ending is setting up some stuff. So if there's some stuff that you're like, oh, this could possibly be this, obviously don't spoil it, because I want to try and not know anything going into a fifth season. Hopefully there will be one, like I keep saying. But obviously, like, tell me, like, comparing, like, from season 1 to season 4, comparing them to the books, like, however many there are. Like I said, I think there's at the very least 3. There might be at max 4. I don't know. I remember looking it up a while back. So, but like, it's over a very, very good season finale. So, but really, that's all I want to talk about in this episode. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.